Long before Diablo, The Witcher, Elden Ring, even The Legend of Zelda, we lived in the dark times, a time of only side-scrolling with jumping and shooting. But then a hero was born, a slightly overly challenging and experience point-laden hero, but screw it, you take what you can get sometimes. Dragon Warrior. Suddenly, a whole new world was available to us all. We could go on a grand adventure to save the kingdom from an evil wizard, find legendary artifacts, collect new and upgradable armor, interact with villagers, and learn the tale of our great world. That is, if you can survive the red and blue slimes. But if you do that enough times, and I do mean enough times, you'll level up and gain enough gold to actually begin your adventure and take on new and greater challenges. So come, experience the progenitor of console RPG gaming with Dragon Warrior. Unless you're outside the United States, in which case it's called Dragon Quest due to an intellectual property conflict.
Retro Recall.
Welcome back to Retro Recall, the show with more nostalgia than the number of poor, cute little slimes that John and I murdered this week.
No, I killed a lot of slimes.
Killed a lot of
slimes.
Why do they have to make them so cute? Like
well, the hard part's when they kill you. That's
well, there is that. Part. That happens.
Like the metal one, the first metal one that kill you in the game.
Yeah. Anyway,
right.
Hey, what are we talking about?
All right, welcome everyone to 1986. Role-playing games are just gaining traction. Video game consoles are gaining power and capabilities. So this is a natural match. And a magical game is created. A game that it is a little flawed, but it influences an entire genre. Dragon Warrior, also known as Dragon Quest for the rest of the world.
Yeah. There was a legal thing in the U.S. There was that pen and paper Dragon Quest.
That's why.
And so they couldn't use the name. Yeah.
So we're going to dive hard into this very, very early RPG as part of our month of RPGs. So
RPG month. Yeah, hey, man. This feels a lot better than Hell Month last time.
Oh, this is a nice break. This was a really good vacation.
Yes.
We're going to dive into what the game is, why it's so important, and of course, what it's like going back and playing it.
Yeah, so what date are we going back to?
May 27th of 1986.
1986. All right.
I did not play it then because I was not even 5, but I did play it later. Mm-hmm. I will say the number one song in America is What is the Greatest Love of All? Whitney Houston? Yeah.
No
idea.
Popular ballad of the day. I can still hear these songs in my head. Yes. And I will probably go to bed with it repeating in my head now that you just mentioned the name. So thanks for that.
One of my wife's favorite things is the amount of times something will be on thanks to Spotify. She'll be playing music and I'll say, oh, that's a Whitney Houston song? And she'll look at me and say, it's one of the most popular songs out there. You know who sang it? And I had to reply back with, maybe the fifth time I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But 1986, not great for punk. This is still punk's, Black Flag, Bad Brains.
Kind of an in-between period. Yeah.
There's a lot of development in punk rock at this era.
The early punk stuff happened and kind of fizzled at this point, and we haven't quite hit the second phase. Yeah.
We're trying some stuff out in 1986, and there's still a lot of anger. We're still in the Reagan era.
Yeah.
But metal
hardcore became a thing around here.
And that's what we're getting. So we're getting thrash metal for the first time.
Thrash metal was definitely more popular too, yeah.
2 months before this, we get Master of Puppets, which is probably Metallica's best album. I'm not as big a fan of Ride the Lightning, but you're going to be up there. Master of Puppets, fantastic album comes out. And then later this year of 1986, we do get Rain in Blood by Slayer, which I'm really only mentioning because I bought tickets and I'm going to the 40th anniversary later this year in LA because it's going to be fantastic. 2 days of Slayer and Reformed Sepultura, and they're throwing in Cannibal Corpse just for shits and giggles.
Great. All sorts of...
Always a good time.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I hope you enjoy it.
But the more important part is I got to talk about movies. And the movies this week are fantastic. And I'll get the first one out of the way. It's Top Gun. Fine. Number one movie in America at this point was Top Gun. I don't care. I don't care. I've never cared. I have no idea what the plot of Top Gun is. I've seen it like 6 times. I cannot tell you the purpose of Top Gun.
Yeah, I don't really care about Top Gun either. I agree.
Don't care, pass. The next one is Short Circuit, which is a hilariously weird film. I haven't seen it in decades, and I believe it might still be funny, only because it's an AI military robot, oopsies, that gets hit by lightning and gains full self-awareness. Number 5 is alive.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
This was great. When we were kids, this was a fun movie. I think it's... I remember watching it a number of years later and then being like, wow, this is kind of slow. And like, but as a little kid, I don't know, I was like 7 in 86. Like, it was fun. It was fun, silly movie. Yeah.
It is, Short Circuit's got its spot. I mean, but you have a military murder robot who befriends children and have to keep it alive.
Wasn't there like an Indian guy who was like the programmer and something? There was something about that.
There was a lot going on there.
There was probably some bad cultural insensitivities, but we'll just leave that.
It's 1986.
Yep.
Now, people who know their history probably think the movie that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be legend. Tom Cruise, Tim Curry as the demon, Mia Sara. This is D&D. This movie has it all, but we're not. We're talking about Cobra. Cobra, written and starring Sylvester Stallone. So A+ material.
It's gotta be good.
A+ material. For those who don't remember Cobra or unfortunately haven't seen Cobra, let me let you in on how great Cobra was. And this is, again, 1986.
Yeah, I haven't seen this, so this is all very new to me.
Don't know why you haven't seen this.
Just for somehow Stallone, I missed this one.
He's a member of LAPD's elite zombie squad, which is a super badass cops who don't play by the rules. Important side note. 1986. NWA doesn't form until 1987, and the Rodney King riots aren't until 1992. So, 1986, we're allowed to have super badass LAPD cops who don't play by the rules.
Right.
We discovered later they were always doing that, and it was a huge problem.
Right. But in this movie, they're fighting zombies, not humans.
No, they're not fighting zombies. It's just called Zombie Squad. No.
What? They don't fight zombies?
No, they're fighting communists. It's so much better than that. That's why this movie's amazing. It's so much better. This movie does $160 million at the box office. In the entire movie, Stallone wears all black, very dark mirror sunglasses indoors, has a toothpick in his mouth the entire movie, despite
that was
not
cool.
eating. Yeah,
that's what the cool guys did. Yeah.
He's never eating corn. He's never eating ribs. He just has a toothpick in his mouth for no reason. And the enemies are communist cultists.
Okay.
This movie's so bad. It is so bad. So bad. It's not over the top bad.
Is it so bad that it becomes good again? Or is it one just of these things?
Squarely Stallone has a collection of films that are terrible. Yet again, $160 million this did at the box office.
Yeah.
The budget for the film was $25 million. Go watch it and figure out where that money is.
In 80s money? Well, he was already a big star from First Blood and Rocky by this point.
At this point, we are just cranking out. Again,
they're just throwing money at him.
I got to look up real quick. I'm sorry. I got to look up was Over the Top before or after this. Okay, no, this predated Over the Top. So they made Cobra, saw Cobra, and then said, you know what? Let's do an arm wrestling movie with this guy.
Let's do
as
more.
A truck driver to gain custody of his child. Figure it out. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, they 6 times the money they spent on it, so it was a good investment.
They did incredible money on it. It's just, again, horrible, and I know some of the people listening to this will know what I'm talking about and have seen it and will go, comment.
I wish I had. Let us know.
Yeah. Anyway, but let's talk about D&D and awesome things.
Yeah.
So
RPGs.
This is amazing. So the early 80s, a new type of video gaming is growing. Wizardry is a game, Ultima, a few others pop up.
Yeah.
Super fun.
In the American market, those are like early US or at least Western RPGs, which are kind of takes on Dungeons and Dragons in their own sort of way, whether it's just like the dungeon part, or maybe this is you as an individual doing your thing. Early stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these games are super fun, but the consoles hadn't really stepped into this world yet. And there's a few reasons. Primarily, no one had done it yet. It's just that's the way console gaming tends to work. The first person to do something and be successful, then everyone else jumps on. Mm-hmm. The other challenge was actually memory limitations. There was an issue at this era. These games were, I mean, it's funny when I say these games were big. If you go and play the original Ultima, you're like, I think, is it 1 megabyte? You know what I mean? But that was a lot back then.
They were really number crunchy too, and not very graphically driven, especially those really early RPGs. Whereas the console audience needed graphics and action, but those early PC RPGs were like spreadsheets and a map with a little stick figure you move around and stuff like that. So I can see why they didn't really migrate over until we get to developers who are willing to take that chance on the NES.
Yeah, so Yuji Horii, who was working at a company called Enix, which later merges with a company called Square to give us the current Square Enix, he had an idea and a dream. And he had a game that was a mix of the RPGs, like wizardry that he'd seen. He'd seen these Western games. Obviously, he's Japanese, and thought they were awesome. And he also had seen some of these dungeon crawlers that were starting to exist on the console because they could make a dungeon crawler that was small enough to do it. And he wanted to make something that was almost the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. And he and his team set out to create what becomes Dragon Warrior.
Or Dragon Quest everywhere else. Yeah.
And the goal was to create a game where you had experience points and character advancement. But not just with equipment, but with actual raw powers. The idea is the player felt immersed with the hero, like you're actually playing a role. Unfortunately, the game, it's got a weird release. So it releases in Japan. Massive success. 1.5 million copies. In the US, 500,000 copies, which is still a lot.
And that even took a while. It took like game magazines and people telling their friends to be like, hey, or people renting the game being like, hey, you should try this. Because the US audience hadn't seen anything like this.
Yeah.
This is before Zelda.
Yeah. The irony, by the way, is the game was based off of Western games. Right. It should have done better in the Western or in the Japanese market. It blew up in the Japanese market because the Japanese market had never seen a game like this.
Yeah, well, Enix was already established in that market. Mm-hmm. I think that's part of it is that they were coming from a history of having done other successful games. And so people were like, okay, what's your next release? And then this came out and they ate it up. The US market had no idea.
That would make sense. However, the main thing about this game, the reason we're getting into this, is it is a legacy game. And at release, the critics were all over this game. Like, this is huge. This game's incredible. This is really a game changer. And in retrospect, it's a linchpin game. It is a progenitor of all the
foundational
RPG games.
Yeah.
We look at this. It influences almost everything that comes after it. It trailblazes the space. And going back into it actually does, it holds up. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Did you own this? I owned this as a kid. Did you own this?
I didn't own it. I rented it. And I think I rented it a few times. So if I really liked a game, especially if it was the summer, and I've explained this before, my mom would take us like every week to the video store, and my brother and I would get to rent a game each. We both got our own game, right? And if I, like with Final Fantasy, which we'll talk about next week, I rented that like 6 weeks in a row until I beat it because I didn't want to leave it there for someone else to rent and then delete my save or something, right?
Yeah.
So with this game, I think I rented it a few times and then I got stuck because I didn't know what grinding XP was yet.
Yeah.
Because I was so new to the genre.
Well, I had the same experience. I was too young. The truth is, playing this game, I actually got more out of playing it this time around than I did as a kid because I now know how to play these games. As a kid, I failed on it.
Yeah.
Eventually just got dusty.
Well, it explains, it makes sense because a lot of the systems in this game are foundational, especially for Japanese RPGs, like even till today. So now, or like early MMOs, there's a lot about this that feels like EverQuest or like classic WoW even just without the other players, and like the massive world, the grindy nature of it. There are some times where you just have to fight mobs in order to get enough gold or XP to level up, that kind of stuff. But we're looking at it back through the lens, so we understand the language of the game now. Back then, we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just be honest. Let's just get into this game because, man.
So what did you like about it? What's on your good list?
I loved this. So I get up very early in the morning. So it's one thing. So I was like, I get up around 5 o'clock in the morning, just naturally, even the weekends. So it was a Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Like, perfect. I'm going to sit down. I'll play this game before my wife and my kid get up. I was so happy by the time they get up in the morning just playing this game because it was
Dad, why are you so happy?
It was just
I played Dragon Warrior, son.
Yeah, all the nostalgia came back because it has all the stuff I love. You got wizards, dragons, skeletons, blobs. Yeah. I mean, sure, it's the interface of a T81 graphing calculator. If I'm being honest, right. But I don't care. It's an RPG. You've got all these lovable things. So first off, you've got a quest to save the land from an evil wizard. Always a good
an ancient story
point.
Of an old ancient hero who leaves his weapons and other things. And
always, this is foundational. That is exactly what I want. Second, I have scaling enemies based on where I am. So you start off with little blobs and then all the way up to demon knights. And that matters a lot because what I'm talking about next, because you get to grind and level up. It's annoying, and I'll get into that part in the bad.
Yeah, get to or have to, depending on who you ask. But
we're gonna get there. But what I like about it is that this becomes quintessential in RPGs. You find a spot in the game, and you run around in a circle until you get enough XP. And the thing I like about this is something I really enjoy in games because you have to make a decision. Do you want to do the South Park and go just kill boars in the forest? Or do you want to risk it for a biscuit and go after the werewolves? A lot more XP over there, but I could die.
Oh, there's magicians near that second town. They give you a lot more stuff, but they're way harder.
Yeah, and if I die, I trek all the way back. So it becomes this whole process.
Right. The trickiest part is fighting something that drops your health to, like, I don't know, the bottom quarter. And then you're like, oh, crap, I'm too far from the town. Can I get back? Can I? And then you got to, it's like, I went through a number of those where I was like, I journeyed too far. Yeah. What do I do now?
There we go. Rest here, warrior. Yeah. But what I love about it, though, is you do the grinding because the leveling up does matter. You get significantly better over the course of the game, but not invincible. I did max out, and even maxed out against the final boss. I had to be healing. I had to be careful with it. It wasn't just auto wins. So that's important.
Yeah, we should describe for people the different ways. And for anybody who's listened to the show before, you know the general way this goes. John goes, okay, I'm going to get to the end, but I'll use cheat codes and I'll do whatever I can. Make it as fun as possible in order to just blast through it and see as much as I can. And then I always come at from the perspective of, I'm just going to load up the game and play it as if I was playing it for the first time with no other awareness, no other cheat codes. Yeah. And I'm going to see what that experience is like. So, and it's beneficial to the show, I think, because now you get both sides, because some people will prefer one or the other.
I needed to see the end of this game. I'll be honest with you. The same thing happened with Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I've never seen the end of this game. I owned this game. And you know what? This game defeated 8-year-old John. Well, 44-year-old John isn't going down like that.
Yeah. So you know what? You don't need any more of those "thou hast failed" messages.
No, I'm good.
Yep.
And I'll explain how I cheat. I didn't cheat as bad. I really just I sped something up. It's the same cheat I used in Final Fantasy VII. I used in this, actually in all Final Fantasies. It's an XP cheat to be like, you know what? I don't have that much time.
Less grindy.
I'm going to accelerate.
Yeah.
But one other thing I like about this game too that's important is as you discover and grow, you get better equipment, which makes you stronger as well. Because I hate when a game scales with you. I want a game to have areas that are tougher, but I want to have areas that are easier. One thing I've always hated in games is when, oh, hey, you got this much better armor and all this better stuff, and everyone else gets better with you.
Right. You don't ever feel more powerful than some of the enemies you come across.
So I just got a new skin. That's all I really achieved. This is stupid. Like, why am I doing any of this? Now I'm angry. So this game is good because it becomes an adventure. And every achievement in the game is an achievement, which I love. Now, another thing I will point out about it it's also a big game. They cheated a little bit by just making you backtrack a lot.
Right. Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah. It's big, man. These continents are not small.
For the NES. I mean, you compare it to, like, I don't know, any of the RPGs that came out 20 years later. Or even the ones on the Super Nintendo. And it's a much smaller scale because it was limited. But it feels, and they do things to make it feel big, especially because you can't go too far from a town because then things become difficult to fight, or the incremental exploration of it due to limitations on level and gear and money, like, makes the world feel bigger than it is. But then there's also the random combat, because this is of the era of you don't see the monsters walking around and you try to avoid them. You just walk, and then every so often, boing, you're in a fight.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll walk around for like 30 seconds or a minute and no fights trigger, and you can go a really long distance. And other times they're triggering like every second, like every 3 steps.
And that's one of the more quintessential parts of RPG play is the, oh no, that we just have when we're low on health, just trying to get to the town, and your rest is interrupted. Yeah. It's at least. But how about you, Tom? What do you think? What are your positives?
So I recognize so many of the I guess the tropes, the foundational concepts. There's so much there.
They're not a trope at this point, which is why it's
they're
so
not tropes.
Weird. Where you're like, oh, this is it. This is the start.
It's like growing up when we did in like every cover band or every other, I don't know, there's lots of bands that sounded like AC/DC. And then by the time I was old enough to go back and listen to AC/DC, I was like, wow, this band sounds derivative. And I was like, wait a minute, no, they were the ones who started this sound and everyone else copied it, right? It's the same kind of thing. This is a foundational game. Real quick, I love the thou hast la 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 language of it.
Every time,
like,
You're
this
what
like
is happening?
Pseudo Old English sort of thing from a Japanese developer, because that felt foreign to them, which we have to think about as like Western people who grew up in Western society. That feels normal. It's like, oh yeah, my ancestors came from Europe and there's castles and old-timey language. Also, this is a really interesting thing. I don't know how many people know this. Thou and you, this is a language thing. Both were used in Old English. We tend to think of thou now as the proper you and you as the more casual. It was actually the opposite. Yeah. So every time you see thou in a game like this, that's actually the more casual pronunciation of you, and you is the more proper. Anyway, but the fundamentals that they cover: leveling up, getting equipment, different types of items, the different types of magic and spells, exploration. Even there's a search function in your little interface, piecing the story together through little tiny conversations, or like you go in a dungeon and you find a thing that explains some more to you. That kind of stuff. You can visit towns or caves and dungeons. There's boss fights. All of this, if I was to list all of those things and say, name what game I'm describing, you will think about every single RPG you've played since Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, in this sense. The graphics also were very nostalgic for me. And I can see,
cute.
Looking back, the design of the character, like the little slimes or the bats or these other characters, some of them are scary, the wizards and the knights and the werewolves and things like that. But some of them are super cute. It's got personality, even though the graphics are so simple. Little changes, like when you get low on health, how like anything white on the screen now looks pink, because you're like that just brought it back. I was like, oh yeah, like there's something about that color palette.
Yeah, because I mean they were doing what they could. That's why I love these old RPGs, because they were so limited in what they could do, but they wanted to give the user an experience, and they were searching for something like that to give it that little bit of a immersion. Right.
Yeah. One of the things that people talk about in creative circles is that limitation breeds creativity. That when you're given, like today, you can do anything in a game, it feels like, as a developer. But back then, they had to work around the limitations of the system. And that made them come up with really creative ways of managing that and doing it. Everything feels like it feels like you're just eking out success as you work through things. Am I going to even make enough money back to pay for the inn in order to try to save more money for that sword I want? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and it adds to the grind, but it also makes everything feel valuable because you had to work for it, which I get. I like that they even give you the option in the intro to speed up the text or slow it down.
Yeah, I did like that too.
So much text.
By the way, when you guys go play this game, speed it up.
Yeah, speed it up. Because that's not even too fast at fast.
Yeah.
Like, just do
it
the fast
also
one.
just fills up and you press the button for continue. It's it's not a Star Wars scroll, you know.
Right. Yeah, I'll get into. They could have streamlined some of that stuff. I'll get into the stuff that wasn't so good. Secrets. There's like secrets in the game. Not just even searching. There are a few places where you absolutely want to search, and you find a hidden passageway underneath the castle, or something's in a dungeon that you didn't know was there. Now you've got a cool fancy weapon. There's that kind of stuff. But there's also stuff like feeding a dragon water will stop them from being able to breathe fire. And every time they try to attack you, they hurt themselves. Things like that people at the time would have maybe been creative enough to try pay off.
Did you know that you don't have to rescue the princess?
You don't have to
secrets? You don't. She's not part of it. She's a side part of the game. If you don't rescue her, you get a different ending. Oh,
interesting. I didn't know it. I didn't even know that. Yeah, there is some flexibility there in the way things play out.
Yeah.
Some secret stuff. The difficulty, the grittiness, the bits of mystery, they make all of it feel like you're actually investing in something. So I totally get why 1.5 million people in Japan bought this game and then went nuts over it. And kids spent like hours of their life just trying to grind this out because it felt like there's like a real, the whole number goes up thing. People joke about that in RPGs, especially in MMOs. You know, like, why is old school RuneScape so popular still? And it's because they nail that feeling of like, you click enough, the number goes up. That feels good. You know? Yeah. I think it nailed all of that stuff. I think there are some things that, especially in retrospect, have been improved and could have been improved upon.
Yeah. So let's start with the bad. And I really only have one main one. And unfortunately, the math on the experience points was a little bit off. How I would explain it. So as Tom said, I use a cheat code. There's a thing I do on RPGs. I do it in almost every RPG I play. I will put an accelerator on my experience points because I just don't have time to put 40 hours of grinding in. And I'll explain to you guys why I did that. So to get to level 30 in this game, you have to acquire 65,535 experience points. Okay?
Right. And a slime gives you 1.
Yeah. Most things in the game give you about 8. A couple guys give you 50, but you work around 8. So that means in order to get to level 30, you have to go win and not on slimes. You have to go on decent fights, about 1,500 fights. I could, by the way, was limited to extend myself to 255 experience points because of binary coding. If you guys
it's the 8-bit limitation. It's the 256, but they start counting at 0, so it's 255.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah.
So you have 256. So I'm on an 8-bit code. So I get that. So that I only had to do 257 fights to get to my max level, but that's 1,500 fights is a lot. A lot. And that's just way too many. Now, the game does allow you to save, but you can only save in one place.
Right.
So there's a lot of backtracking. So this is the one real flaw of the game in my mind of you really are just going to grind. Now, it is achievable. The flip side is, as opposed to what we did in the month prior to this, we played all the impossible games. You can do that. You could sit there and grind this out and win those 1,500, maybe 2,000 fights, and you'll be level 30 and you'll have enough gold to buy all your stuff. But
right.
That's a lot of time, man. That's a lot of time.
It is. And it's something I realized really early on because I didn't use any cheats. So I got 20 minutes in and I was like, I'm level 2. Huh. Yeah. And I'm nowhere near affording the better gear yet. And I know I can only journey so far.
Stick. Yeah.
I bought a club, I bought a shirt, and I bought a dragon scale, which you can use to actually increase your resistance a little bit more. Yep. But you can only get so far, and you can only journey so far until you come across enemies that are too hard, and then they kill you and you go back to the castle.
Real quick. Yeah, you basically go up a little bit and you find a drake and I'm dead.
Cool. You're dead. Yeah. Or just too many enemies that you don't have anything to heal out in the world because you don't have a heal spell yet, or whatever the herbs are that you can buy.
Yep.
So I ran into that and I pushed through that for a while. And then I was like, okay, what are there cheat codes? Not cheat codes the way you use, but like in the game. And so normally I don't try to cheat this stuff, but I got really curious. And I found that if you use the name test, all capital test, that you start with slightly better stats. And I was like, I wonder what that's like, because I bet that's the kind of thing that you would have read in like a Nintendo Power magazine or something like that. And I was like, what is that experience like? It's not that bad. It's not that much better. It's like you get like a few digits raised on your attack and defense, and it was still super grindy. It was still really, really grindy. So the grind is real, and I didn't do the math on it, but after spending a considerable amount of time and only getting to like level 6, I was like, okay, I see what this is now.
Yeah, this is a game you are in for a long commitment if you want to play it straight.
Right. But again, that creates value, because the people who did it, like especially among school children, like on the playground, if somebody's like, hey, I got to level 30 in Dragon Quest, like that would have been like, holy crap, how did you do that? Because like you said, tons of fights. But here's my list of things that I think could have been better. It's definitely a great first attempt, but there are some rough edges. Limited detailed info. So for example, when you buy a specific weapon or armor, or you look at the spell list or whatever, you don't know how much damage they're going to do when you buy them. You don't know how much mana a spell's going to use until you use it. Like there were times I was out in the field and I was like, oh, it's a good thing I've got this heal spell. Oh, don't have enough mana left. I can still cast the hurt spell, but I can't heal myself. What do I do now? I just cross my fingers and hope I get back to town, Lots of grinding and backtracking.
You make me think of 9 Inch Nails. Like, I hurt myself today.
yeah. That was the song playing in the background. But lots of grinding and backtracking, which the benefit is it makes it feel bigger because this is an older game. But they really did eke out as much as they possibly could on an 8-bit console at the time. And the game balance is a little bit of strange. Like at the very beginning, it feels like, will I ever save up enough money for a sword? And then one of the things I did for this was I watched other people's playthroughs. And by the time they got to the end game, they had way more money than they needed. It's that thing where like the balance flips and eventually it's like the money's not really a limiting factor. It's just XP.
Yeah, that's what I discovered. Once your experience points get up to a certain level and you can kind of fight the bigger guys start dropping a lot more gold. And you're like, oh, okay, this is easy now. I'll go buy whatever I want.
Right. So I guess there's something about feeling wealthy there, but the balance doesn't match with the XP. Right. And those are both things that you get for fighting. So it feels like they should kind of line up a little bit better. Also, the game's really wordy. Like they could have streamlined stuff. Every time you beat something or you attack something, it's like, you did X amount of damage. They did X amount of damage to you. Like they just spell out all the words, whereas you could have just listed 2 numbers, maybe one in green and one in red, and been like,
nah, this is more fun. This is more of a throwback to this era. See, I know where you're coming from, but I played a lot of games back then.
Right.
I loved the extra. That's why I said the T81 graphic calculator reminds me of just playing stuff on that. Like, here's all the information. Oh, okay, cool, thanks.
Right, and to its credit, it's streamlined from the PC games that influenced it, because those PC games would have had like a log where it was very verbose and there was lots of detail that you just didn't even need, all just listed there. And today, if you play a game like this, you'll just have numbers pop off somebody's head. Yeah. And you know what they mean. But all of that stuff gets really streamlined. But then also the story is very simple, but we've talked about this before. By the mid to late 80s, all of these stories are very simple.
I will say one of my favorite parts of this whole game is the amount of old wizards hanging out in dungeons by themselves.
Right.
It's just...
Or walking around in towns or castles.
Yeah. Well, because the problem is it's the guy all by himself in the dungeon always makes me think of Monty Python Life of Brian and the guy with the vow of silence with the juniper bush. I don't know why.
Right.
Like, well, what's this guy eat? There's just this old wizard at the bottom, and he just sitting there. There's just some juniper bush nearby that he's eating. I'm sorry. My brain goes weird spots.
Or Tim the Enchanter in the Holy Grail.
Tim the Enchanter.
He's like,
fantastic.
my name's Tim.
Tim.
He's just standing there exploding for nothing.
Yeah. There's those who call me Tim.
Tim?
Yeah.
That feels a lot like that. Yeah. But maybe that was a trope of the time. It kind of makes sense. But overall, those are all kind of nitpicky things. If you reduce the grinding part of it,
it's a really good game. If that experience thing gets cleaned up.
Yeah, because it feels like forever before you get in the first cave, and then you explore the cave, and there's really not much there. And then you get to the next town, and it's still not that much there. Things are just more expensive. You don't get to see enough very quickly, is kind of the pacing of it is just the issue. But that would have required them making a map that was like 5 or 10 times bigger. Yeah. In order to have a game that took as much gameplay as this, which they weren't able to do yet. So, yeah. So there you go. Okay, so who do we think should play this? Should our listeners? Everyone should go back and play it?
Everyone who plays RPGs should play this, because there is so many. I mean, cheat. Don't get me wrong. Cheat. You need to cheat. But you really should. It's kind of cool because it does hold up. As Tom was saying really well, if you go through and wrote down, well, what are all the quintessential parts of an RPG?
It checks all those.
This has them, and this one kind of made them. Obviously, there were games before this, but this put a lot of them together. So it's kind of cool to go back and be like, oh, wow, this is the origin. The other group who should definitely play this is all the people who are our age and couldn't beat it when they were kids.
Yeah,
and go back now.
Go.
The other group
go back
too.
And beat it now.
You guys should go back and give this thing another shot. It's quite satisfying to beat.
Yeah.
The final was cool.
Yeah, it just popped in my head as we were talking about this. The two other things that it doesn't have that I would describe as quintessential to RPGs is a party system, which we're going to see in Final Fantasy. There's no, it's just you. And also visual customization. Like you get the new armor, but your character looks the same. Yeah. So.
Yeah, actually, interesting. I think this game probably, if you play a lot of Diablo, is the one who should definitely go play this game, because this probably is your precursor to Diablo more than anything else.
The single player, just working your way through.
Single player, dungeon
a bunch
crawl.
Of stuff. Yeah.
You grind, you level up, you find better armor, you find better this, improve.
Early MMOs too. Like you go back to Ultima Online and EverQuest, and they were not the quest system that got popular with WoW. They were just fight a bunch of enemies, get more powerful, and then find better gear. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of connective tissue in there. So yeah, if you're curious about the origins of that, go pick this up. Go check it out. So there you go. That's who should play it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in just a minute with your comments and some other stuff. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and if you enjoy our conversations and the way that we present content, go check out our other shows. If you like 40K stuff, check out John's shows, the 40K Lorecast, History of 40K. If you like Fallout, Elder Scrolls, or Lord of the Rings, check out my other Lorecasts about each of those. Just look up the name of the thing in Lorecast, and you'll find all of those. But here, John, let's get through. We've got some reviews and comments. Yep. So the first two come from a person. We're trying to keep this PG for families. Under F. We'll just call you Under F.
Under Fook.
Oh, it's
under Fuke. There we go.
Fuke.
Under Fuke.
Under Fuke.
Under Fuke.
Under Fuke.
Under Fuke.
Under Fuke. Yes. Who is clearly from another country somewhere.
Yes.
On the Super Mario World episode writes, all right, guys, John, do me a favor since I tirelessly listen to your Warcast lore. I have always loved the game Joe and Mac. I have to save every penny up to buy it. I played it on Sega.
Yep. So we'll definitely do some. I think we're doing some themes now. I think it'd be fun to do some of these, like just more. We'll maybe do a goofy one where we'll do
goofy platformers.
These platformers. Joe and Mac is very fun. So yeah, I'm all in on Joe and Mac.
Yeah. And then also on the Primal Rage episode, Underfook said, 100% will always remember this game and loved it. As a kid, I loved dinosaurs, and when I see it in arcades, I shoot myself. whatever.
Primal Rage is a stupid, stupid game that is oddly fun. That's how I'll describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed that episode. All right. David says on the Echo episode, please cover Russian Attack.
A Russian attack, so not Russian attack, like, Russia is attacking.
Attack.
Rush and Attack with an N is a wild old game on Nintendo. I had to look it up when I saw this one. I was like, you're a Green Beret with a gun. It's basically pre-Contra.
Yeah, it's like top down, right? You top down and you kind of...
It's side.
Is it side?
It's side, yeah.
I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's 1985.
Yeah, it's one of the early ones. I remember the name. I'm pretty sure I played it. I just can't picture it in my head right now.
Yeah, that's right. So it was called Green Beret in Japan and Europe. And you're a special ops soldier who's infiltrating enemy bases to free POWs.
As you do.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Thanks, David. We'll put that on our list. Yuri from the Echo episode says, what's the release year cutoff for a game to be called retro anyway? Late Zoomers are calling Half-Life Unk Slop now. I've never heard that. And I feel personally attacked. Another one I'd like to see is the PS1 Siphon Filter games. Are they old enough to be called retro yet? Those games were a big part of my childhood and also how I learned English. It's a shame how the franchise died.
Yeah, so I think Tom and I, when we originally made this, our idea was to be like 1985, like 1996, but that 96 has gone right out the window pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've discussed going all the way up into like the early 2000s.
Yeah, like we need to cover Half-Life and we need to cover Counter-Strike, candidly. I mean, Counter-Strike, especially given the popularity of Call of Duty.
Right. Well, people still play modern versions of Counter-Strike today.
Sure,
That's...
So again, if we're talking today about a game that launched an entire genre, Counter-Strike, there's a bunch of these ones, and Half-Life's another major game that just does, I guess they're kind of the same thing in some ways, but that one, Siphon Filter 2, these are major games. So we're definitely getting to PlayStation 1 into some of those eras. I'll be candid. The only problem I'm going to have is N64 because, man, those graphics just do weird things to my brain.
PS1 graphics are weird too. Yeah, sometimes the geometry would like warp at angles and stuff. It got weird too.
The N64 graphics, it's more because on N64 Nintendo liked like spin stuff around a little bit. They make me dizzy.
Yeah, I get all pixelated and like zoom in and
it makes me dizzy. So just calling it, but we'll do them.
All right. Rich, the best man, I think that's what that says on the Echo episode, says y'all should play Digimon World 1 for the PS1 and see how far y'all can get without a guide. I did not play Digimon.
Not far. I will make it easy for you. Not far. My brother played it. My younger brother played it. So I bounced him. Not far. I will make that very clear. Digimon is rough. That is not a like, can you figure this out? No.
It's not Pokemon.
It sucks to be you.
Yeah. Not as easy as Pokemon. Okay.
Yep.
Well, maybe that'll be on one of our like, oh man, these are going to be rough months. We'll see. Simo 1981 on the Echo episode says, in the world of time-traveling dolphins, aliens, and Atlantis, the prehistoric life in the wrong time is where John draws the line. Gotcha.
Yep. That is what
that's it.
Anyone who listens to the 40K Lorecast knows I do this all the time. I will die on the world's dumbest hills all the time. It's just a thing.
At least you're aware of it.
Yep. Oh, I'm aware of it. Yep.
It kind of makes it fun though. Do you like really push just like one point? You know,
this is what bothers me. It's the same way like I get annoyed in sci-fi movies when they try to add science. Like why?
Yeah.
There's no reason to. You're making it worse. I was fine with there being dragons. Don't try to whatever that movie with Matthew McConaughey. I think it's Matthew McConaughey, isn't it? Where the dragons are the reason dinosaurs went extinct and they come back to life. It is terrible.
What was that? Yeah, what was that?
But you know what I'm talking about. Dumb. If they hadn't done that, it might not be Matthew McConaughey. It might have been the guy who played Batman. But it's one of the two. Or maybe they're both. Don't know.
This was like what, early 2000s?
Yeah, early 2000s. But my point is the entire plot of the movie pissed me off. I still remember that part because I'm just like, no, that's objectively too stupid.
Right.
We would have known that.
Yeah.
I hate you for putting that in the movie. Just let there be dragons. Right. I'm cool with that.
Right. To talk about stupid decisions in films. Remember when Twister came out? Talking like mid-90s. Twister. And it was real big. Everyone went and saw Twister. And I made fun of all my friends who went and saw it. And I'm like, this movie, the whole plot is about people who make dumb decisions and get too close to storms, and then we're supposed to feel bad for them. Yeah. And they're like, shut up.
I drove into a tornado.
Right. What did you think was going to happen when you drove into a tornado?
I'll tell you a story the other day about when I drove past the tornado. I'm like, is that a tornado? Oh, God, it's a tornado. And my reaction was, let's see how fast this car can go.
Let's go the other direction, not toward it.
I was in the freeway, so it was like, cool. Turns out Explorer max speed in a tornado 120.
Nice. Well, good to know. Good to know. Yeah. Travesty for the Curse of Monkey Island episode says, what about Quest for Glory series? They were up against... John and I just talked about the Sierra games last week about which of those we might want to cover in the future.
Two things. I believe Travesty wrote What a Boot.
What a boot.
I believe right. He may be Canadian, and
with
I support this. Support this. So what a boot. And yeah, we actually were trying to do Quest for Glory. We might have to take a month of Quest for Glory is the problem because there's so many Quests for Glory. So the answer is yes. We're just trying to figure out how to do it.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like you go too far back in those old Sierra games. Yeah. And they are almost unplayable because the puzzles don't make any sense.
And they also become kind of repetitive too. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do it and which ones the best ones are. So,
but by like Quest for Glory 3, 4, like that's, if I recall correctly, that's when they started to really seem like they were doing something interesting. So we'll look into it. They're definitely on our list. Harold Vildalen, maybe I pronounced that correctly, on the Echo episode writes, you guys need to play Dungeon Keeper. I think we talked about doing this one as well.
Yes, we did. Dungeon Keeper is definitely on the list. 100% on the list.
There you go. Yeah. Paul on the Echo episode says, I keep telling us to give you our suggestions. I think that's a typo. You guys keep telling us to give us suggestions for future episodes, but how will we let you know what we want if you don't yell out your email, old man? Oh, and please cover Suikoden series.
So Tom, you don't know this reference.
I figured this was this is from our other show reference. Yeah.
My co-host thought it was a good idea because he has a coaching service to say his email address out and discovered that when you do that and your podcast becomes popular, the amount of bots that then email said email address becomes so excessive that your email address ceases to function. So anyway,
you get a lot of spam. Yes, absolutely.
Suikoden, 100%. I actually want to do something about it's a Konami game, so we could actually just do a Konami series. Because the Konami, they all look kind of similar, but I like the Konami games a lot. But
yeah. Thanks for the suggestion, Paul. Two more. Dusty Shelf Zero on the Echo episode says, I'd like to hear thoughts on Twisted Metal. I played Twisted Metal.
I actually didn't like Twisted Metal.
I'll play
it again. I didn't like it. I'm not a driving game guy, though.
Yeah. See, this is one of those games that was fun with your friends. That's what I remember about it.
I could see that. Yeah, Twisted Metal didn't do it for me, but nothing against it. Just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. And then Sagoth for the Echo episode says, so you're saying this game did not light your love of diving?
Yeah. I'm a big scuba diver, but yes, the Echo the Dolphin. Oh, God, Echo the Dolphin. I still love the game, but man, was it a wild thing.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, you want to be careful. You don't get sucked up by aliens and go to the past or alien places. Yeah. I don't know. There's dangerous out there.
God's wild game. All right. But anyway, thank you all for the comments. That was awesome. And thank you guys for doing it. First off, it does help us out a lot. So if you are listening to the show and you leave a comment, it does help our algorithm. So a genuine thank you for all of you who are doing it. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Also, I thought about adding this before as well. I think we only have like 2 actual written reviews on Apple Podcasts. I know most of you listen on Spotify. Yeah. But if you happen to listen on Apple or you have an Apple account and want to leave us a review on there, a 5-star review with some words, that would help out a ton too. So please consider all of that is useful. And specifically, the reviews that go up on Apple get repeated in other places across the internet. So they are more beneficial than just for the Apple audience.
Done that. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Good to know. But anyway, all right, next week, we are off to continue the joy and fun. We're staying on Nintendo for, talk about a classic. We are going Final Fantasy 1. So
the first.
Yeah.
We're first of the last fantasies.
Yeah, we're going with a lot of progenitors. So our idea of this was to start with the first game that really was a console RPG, and then to go into the one that then launches console RPGs, like in the sense of like,
starts to really make this a trend. Yeah.
This is the thing. So we're going to go into that. This is a massive favorite that, again, I didn't beat as a kid. So this weekend, it's going down.
I did. And I've got a fun story I'm going to say for next week about Final Fantasy
excited.
1.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's a great game. And this is going to, no more challenges and sadness. Yeah, the
RPG. John has been super after last month, and especially now that we're at RPGs.
Glowing.
Like both of these, like RPGs are one of both of our favorite genres. But John's like, oh my god, I had so much fun this week.
I'm just glowing. Like, this is the best thing ever. I'm playing RPGs. So sorry.
Come back, join us for that next week. We'll have some fun Final Fantasy takes, and until then, stay safe out there. We'll see you next time.
Take care, buddy.
Recall.
Robots Radio. Games. Lore. Stories. Community. Just press play.